In this video, we're going to talk about what are some of the common mistakes that new machine owners and new scan administrators make. To me, it all starts before the client arrives. So the scan environment, or where you set your machine up, is very important. You must make sure that there is good light coming from the ceiling, and it must be coming vertical or straight down from the ceiling. So we don't want light just coming from the sides. And what I mean by that, if you can see shadows coming across your machine, like a shadow from the handle, the light in that room is probably not good enough for a reliable, good quality Fit3d scan. So something to keep in mind when you're setting up the machine is the lighting. You also want to make sure there's no natural light coming into the scanning room. So you don't want sunlight coming into the room. If there's windows, that's fine. Just make sure you block them with blinds or with curtains, etc. Also in the scan environment, we've seen people try and put their Fit3d scanner into a room that's too small. You must make sure that you have at least 30 centimeters either side of the machine and at least 50 centimeters of spare space in front of the machine. What's in front and the sides of the machine really matters. What's behind the machine doesn't really matter. That's just a nice opportunity to put some nice pop-up banners or marketing signs. In front of the machine, you've got to make sure there's no shiny posters or mirrors. Clothes must not be put too close to the machine. Ideally, you'd have a wall that's straight or flush in front of the machine, so it's not on too much of an angle. All these little things would produce the most reliable, accurate Fit3d body scan. The next step is, before the client comes in, I'd strongly recommend sending them pre-test instructions or making pre-test instructions available. It physically and mentally prepares them for their Fit3d body scan. In those instructions, you should definitely include a link to set up your Fit3d account in advance. This will save you 3 minutes per person for each body scan that you're administering. If you include a video in those pre-test instructions of someone having a Fit3d body scan, it also prepares the client for what to expect. And then make sure that they know they're going to be in a room by themselves, that minimal underwear or tight underwear is a requirement. All these small things will make sure that they're going to get an accurate, reliable Fit3d body scan. Then when the client comes into the scan room, a common mistake is people, when they're logging into the tablet, they try and go too fast. It's quite different to your iPhone or your smartphone. The tablet keypad, you've got to go quite slowly and make sure that the letter changes color. I'll commonly see people say, oh, I thought that was the correct password, my email address is correct, but a lot of the time they've just typed their email in wrong or their password wrong. So make sure people go slowly. Another mistake once they are logged in is you not making the client practice the scan position before you leave them in the room by themselves. Once you've logged them in and you've taken their height and you get the screen to the weight scale page, that'll time out after approximately 6 or 7 seconds. Once it's timed out, get the client to take their shoes and socks off and practice in their clothes standing on the machine. So stand on the silvers, get them to practice lifting up the handles, having their arms straight, looking straight ahead in the scan position. Making them practice that scan position will significantly increase the amount of successful scans you have. The first scan sometimes doesn't matter, but where it matters is when they come back for their second or third scan. A lot of people regret not making sure that the very first scan was done perfectly. Arms must be straight, shoulders relaxed, looking straight ahead, relaxed breathing, in tight underwear or minimal clothing. These things are all very important, not just in the first scan, but you want to be able to replicate it every single scan. Other common mistakes that people make is if someone has a failed scan. So no matter how well you set up the Fit3d scanning room, occasionally you're going to get the odd failed scan. If that happens, you're going to scan your client again, and then they're going to have a partial set of one result and then a full set of another result. If you let that client go home without deleting the partial set or the failed scan results, you risk really confusing the client and letting the client think that Fit3d is not reliable, or losing their confidence in Fit3d. So if your client does have a failed scan, make sure you get the client to log in as themselves. They must log in as themselves on your computer in front of you. And then you're going to go to the 3 horizontal line icon in the top left of the screen, click on Scan History. That'll just bring up some 3D images of the client. By the way, that's a great place to see if you did get a failed scan. You could see why, and if their head is really blurred in that 3D image in the failed scan, it means that they were moving their head 100%, so they've obviously not scanned correctly. But anyway, once you're in that section, you just click on the 3D image, and then the bottom right of the screen, an option to delete your Fit3d scan will come up, and that's where you choose the one that was failed, delete, and then refresh, and then the client will just have one set of results. You just don't want that situation where the client goes away and has one half set and one full set. It's going to ruin all their future graphs. Another thing to consider when you're going through results with clients, another mistake I've seen people, like as an administrator, you don't have automatic access to their 3D images. So a mistake is not warning the client about their 3D image. Those 3D images for some people are really blunt and confronting. So make sure you warn the client about those 3D images before you leave them to it. I would strongly recommend just warning them about, hey, these Fit3d images, you're going to get them on your email within a couple of minutes. Just a quick warning, they can be really confronting for some people. That's all you need to say about it. Another common mistake is if your machine freezes or the tablet freezes when you're trying to sign in with a client. So it can be quite stressful if that happens, of course, especially if you've got 50 clients lined up, one after each other. Fit3d, it's like a big computer. So easy fix, like a computer, if it freezes, just turn it off at the wall, wait for 20 seconds, restart the tablet, restart the Fit3d app. Most of the time that'll solve your problem. If it doesn't, you may actually have to repeat that process up to 3 times. Another common reason for scans not working or the tablet freezing is the internet connection. So try and hotspot off your phone if you really have to, or try another internet source. If resetting the machine and the tablet doesn't work, then definitely try the internet. If none of those things work, on a pretty rare occasion, you just have to give the tech team an email, support@fit3d.com, and let them know what you've tried, and they can come up with some suggestions for you. Anyway, those are just some of the common mistakes that we've seen machine owners and administrators make. So yeah, I hope those tips are helpful. Happy scanning, guys.